Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I am Tina with Life in the Piedmont. On my channel, you will find me doing a lot of cooking and baking from scratch. You will find me preserving, canning food, as well as dehydrating food. Today's video is part of a collaboration because September is National Preparedness Month. And this collaboration is hosted by Michelle over at Big Valley Living. Thank you, Michelle, for including me in this collaboration. I really appreciate it. This is my first time participating, so I'm really excited about that. So today will be a little chatty video, kind of prepping you up for my next video, where I will demonstrate to you on how I preserve my food, dehydrating, and how I use those food items that I do dehydrate. But first, before we get started, I want to do just a little bit of housekeeping here and some of the things that I do want to mention. Avid Armor is actually sponsoring this collaboration, so I want to thank you very much, Avid Armor. Really appreciate that. Friends, there will also be a live giveaway. Okay, you mark your calendars down for this. It will be hosted or held October 1st, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, uh, 6 o'clock Central time. So make sure you check your time zone, but it is 4 p.m. Pacific time. That's where Michelle, it's going to be held over on her channel at Big Valley Living. So you want to make sure you mark your calendar. And let me tell you what the giveaways are. You have the opportunity to win an Avid Armor chamber vacuum sealer. And this is open only to the US residents only. So I am very sorry about that. Guys, I will show you the pictures. This is an amazing unit and you have an opportunity to win this. And that's just not the only prize that's going on. Michelle's at Big Valley Living is giving away a $100 gift card, friends, to Amazon. That is amazing, right? Who couldn't use an Amazon gift card, right? And then there would also be the third prize winner could win a printed version of 100 Days of Preparedness, which would be signed copy. And there is, yeah, so you could win. So there's 3 prizes that you could possibly win. And all you need to do is make sure that you're watching the videos, leave a heartfelt comment, don't copy and paste because it could be recognized as spam, okay? And you don't want to do that. And then tune in to the live and have an opportunity to win. The playlist will be over on Michelle's channel, so you'll be able to go watch a lot of those channels and see how to prepare. Now, let's move forward with the video itself. Preparedness. When you think of preparedness, you know, there's a lot of things we prepare for in life, and we're taught at a very young age that we need to be prepared for things. Basic things from going to school, we need to prepare, certain food when we eat. So we're always preparing something in our life. This is what I'm talking about here is preparing your home, your family for life. Things that you have no control of that can come into your life, whether it's job loss or medical condition, whatever the case is. We saw a lot of different things happen a few years ago about, shortages, and people were concerned if they weren't able to get certain things. So being prepared for anything that can happen in your life, in our world, is so important. And I know because of my preparing and the years that I've done preparing, I know that it has come in handy on a couple of occasions. And I am very thankful that I took the time to learn the skills, and I had great women influencers in my life that taught me how to prepare things. My grandmother was one of them. She was a major influence in my life, and I think that generation of growing up and coming out of the Great Depression, which my grandmother was, she saw things in the family and what they had to go through and the lack of things that they had. So when I was growing up, I remember grandma having the freezers and everything was always just full. And, she would go to the grocery store and, grandpa and her would go buy the stuff on sale and they would come home and they would like grind their own meat and stuff like that, wrap it up, date it, put it in the freezers. They would can their food. So there's a lot of great reasons to be prepared, okay? Life happens to all of us. It doesn't matter who you are, life can just happen and we don't know. So it's always really good to prepare. So today I have really started getting into dehydrating. That is a completely different concept than maybe freeze drying. Dehydration comes with an air, okay? It has air that circulates around. It's a warm air that circulates around and dries out the food, okay? And what it does is that it can stop the micro. So when you dehydrate, there's a process to it. There's a couple of ways that you can dehydrate. And when you dehydrate, it actually helps stop the microorganisms from growing, which we would know like as mold and stuff. But you have to make sure those items are dried out. If there's anything that is still slightly damp or wet, those items will go moldy. Okay, and you have to store them properly too. And we're going to get into all of that. Normally, you can dehydrate pretty much anything, friends. You can dehydrate your meat. You can learn how to make beef jerky. You can dehydrate fruit to make fruit leather. You can dehydrate all your herbs. You can dehydrate your potatoes. You can dehydrate fruits to have as nice, healthy snacks on the road. I've done it and they're very good. If you've ever gone into the store, you'll see how expensive those dried fruits are. They can get very pricey. So anyhow, I wanted to talk to you about that. And there's so many more that you can dehydrate. Anything that you can think of in the produce section, you can dehydrate. And I'm going to tell you something. I have a wonderful cookbook that I highly recommend. I am not affiliated with this cookbook at all, but I absolutely love it. And if you want to get into dehydrating, I suggest that you get this cookbook. I think it's one of the better cookbooks out there. But before I show you that, let's talk about the different ways you can dehydrate. The first thing I'm going to show you is I have a Magic Mill dehydrator. When I was looking at dehydrators, I was looking at all the other ones that had come highly recommended. Well, at that time when I was really getting into dehydrated, a lot of those prices had gone up. And so I found one called the Magic Mill. It was a 10 tray dehydrator. It was digital and I absolutely love it. It works really well for me and my family and for the needs and how I use it. So there's one. I got that on Amazon and they're always having sales on those, friends. I am not affiliated with them either, but they're worth the money and they're reasonably priced. So there's one way. There's another way. My very first time ever dehydrating anything, I had found, I'm going to try and link a picture up here or on the next slide. I had found it's like a mesh, think of it as like a mesh hamper, but it has shelves in it. And you can put your stuff in there. And what that does on the windy days, or if you have the ability with fans in your house to circulate the air, you hang these up and the wind circulates and it will dry out and dehydrate your food. Now, it will take a little bit longer than the Magic Mill because that's electric ran, but it does get the job done. And I think that is just a fabulous way. What if your power went out or something? There's a great way to dehydrate and preserve food, even if you don't have power. Third, you can actually dehydrate in your oven. You set it on a low setting, between 180 and 200, depending on what you're doing. And you can dehydrate on a cookie sheet and put your herbs and everything on there, orange slices, whatever it is, apples, you can dehydrate using your oven as well. And on the fourth one, this is what is so great. If you have an air fryer, there is a dehydrating function on that as well. And you can use your dehydrator on your air fryer to dehydrate herbs in that. So there's, what have I given you? So yeah, a couple of different ways. You also, there's another way is the sun oven that you can get and you can dehydrate on that as well. So there's 5 different ways you can dehydrate. You can use the sun, you can use a dehydrator, you can use the wind, you can use the oven, and you can use an air fryer if you have that. Isn't that wonderful? There's 5 great ways to dehydrate. Now I'm going to show you some of the things that I have dehydrated this year. Now these came off my green onions. When I harvested my onions out in my garden, I took the tops of them and I thought, you know, we're not going to waste these. We're going to dehydrate them. And so there you go. And that is just another herb that I can put into my pantry, and I can use it in soups, potatoes, whatever I need. It's simple. One of the other things I have been dehydrating because I have had such an abundance, and that is chives. Has another onion flavor to it, but these are all the chives that I have dehydrated so far this year. And I looked out there and I have more to go cut and dehydrate. So I will have more. Then, these are all my herbs I'm showing, just so you know, friends. Then I dehydrated some parsley. This is my parsley. I have more to dehydrate out there. And it still smells like parsley. It has an absolutely delicious smell. When I want to use the parsley, because you can see there are, let me see if I can find one for you. They're all coming out. As you can see, the leaves are still on the stem. But when I want to use it, I will just take it off and put it into my pasta sauce. I will put it on pizza, wherever you like to put parsley. And when it hits the liquid from the sauce that you're using, it actually reconstitutes it back to the original state. And honestly, friends, you don't even know it was dehydrated. It is still as flavorful. And then this is cilantro. I love cilantro. I never get enough of it. I have a tray in my dehydrator right now that I need to pull out, and I use this in when I make burritos, beans, rice, that type of thing, tacos. So those are the things that I have dehydrated. Now, when you dehydrate, I'm going to show you, when you dehydrate, you need to store them in a Mylar bag, and that's what this is. This is from 23. These are onions that I dehydrated last year, and I really need to be using them. So I'm going to bring this up and leave it in my pantry. And what I do is you have to put an oxygen absorber in there. And I don't have one with me, but there is one in here, and I will get to that and show you. It's just one of those oxygen absorbers. I got them off of Amazon. I think it's 100 that I put in here. It's like 100 cc or something you want to put in here. So, and then I seal it up with a heat sealer, okay, which I purchased off of Amazon as well. And I just store these then in a plastic bin down in my storage area where I store my stuff that I can. So I'm going to demonstrate how I dehydrate all this in my next video that will be coming out on the 24th of September. So make sure you come back. But before I go, this is the book I absolutely love. It's the Dehydrating Cookbook. Friends, this is your best friend when it comes to dehydrating. Okay, there is nothing in this. You cannot find, what's the word I'm looking for? If you're looking for how to dehydrate, you can find it in this book. She goes into such great detail about dehydrating. Pineapple coconut crackers is there. And not just that, guys. This is what is so, so great. So I showed you all the herbs, right? Well, then you can take those herbs and you can dehydrate different herbs and make a rub out of it. And then she gives you the recipes in here that shows you those items that you dehydrated, how to use them and cook with them. And this one here was actually a lemony chicken and rice soup, very similar to a recipe that I actually just made not that long ago, a couple weeks ago. And it is just so full of information that if you want to get into dehydrating, you can. And what's so great about it is if you look at the back, dehydrating stuff makes great gifts, friends. You can make really great gifts and give them away at Christmas time as well, for birthdays, for whatever the special occasion might be. So that is my introduction to dehydrating. We talked a little about 5 ways we can dehydrate. I showed you my herbs, how to dehydrate them. I talked about um, storing them in the Mylar bag. They do last for about a year. So I need to get using these onions before they go bad. And I talked about the book, which I believe is the best book that you can possibly get when you're going to start learning how to dehydrate. It's amazing. So I hope that you gain some knowledge out of this video. And I look forward to seeing you on my next video when I take you along and we actually start dehydrating stuff in the dehydrator, and we will use it in a recipe together. So will you join me on September 24th when I show you my next video? And until then, thank you again, Michelle, for inviting me to this collaboration. Please make sure you go watch the videos and leave a heartfelt comment, and we will see you on the next one. And until then, be blessed, friends. Bye-bye.